Hello everyone and welcome to your pick a card reading. It's actually a timeless reading. Now before I get into this, I just wanted to make clear about the reason why I started Real Justice Tarot. I am what's known in so-called conspiracy theorists or truther circles as a targeted individual. Now what this entails is your name is placed on a list by somebody with close connections to a criminal organization or a very powerful alchemical fraternity or sorority or very high places within government, defense or pharmaceuticals. So in my case, I have made several guesses over the years as to why I have been targeted and how. You can see that all over my social media. But the truth of the matter is, I only have a vague idea that my story is intergenerational. And the thing about it is that this is something that continues on for the rest of your life, no matter what. I went through the first few years, you can see on my Facebook as Fabulous D, especially the ones with the higher view count. I went through a sort of crusade of being very, very hyper vigilant. And there was one occasion where I was searching for a hidden bathroom camera because somebody from next door talked about things I was doing in the bathroom that she couldn't have possibly have known because of how the houses were set up. So she couldn't possibly known what I was doing in the bathroom unless she had some sort of hidden footage. Hello, hi, Adore. So there's no way she could have possibly known what I was doing unless there was some sort of hidden surveillance in there. Unfortunately, I didn't get to open up I got to open up the bath panel and it appeared that I didn't find anything in there. But there was this sort of brown concrete slab over the front of it. So what I think is going on is that because I know I'm implanted, so either the surveillance is going on through the implants, so it might not actually be a camera. What it might be is that the implants give off a certain energetic reading and they can basically visualize everything that I'm doing from their laptop. That's one thing that I found. Well, that's one conclusion that I came to while I was living in Willesden. Another conclusion that I came to was that there was a receptor through the bathroom wall through which they could see me. Either way, they were bugging my house and they bragged about it. So for the first few years, I was, not even the first few years, the first decade, I was an absolute mess, you guys. I was a mess and a half. Okay. I don't even know when it happened, but something inside me sort of snapped and kind of accepted that, yeah, this is going to be happening to me for the rest of my life. So if I don't stop, no. The way I saw it was this: if the gang stalking doesn't stop, then I don't stop. So I accepted what was happening to me. And I started to take refuge in my hobbies like singing. I can still sing really, really well in spite of electronic weaponry being attacked up my throat. I can still sing really well. And also, I took refuge in doing readings every day. And the way it started was me just doing readings for myself every day. Then it kind of slowly built up into me providing oracle readings and tarot readings for other people sporadically and astrological readings sporadically. I didn't make any money from it or much money from it because it was like I got one client like about every 3 years. So it wasn't enough to, certainly not enough to alert the authorities over, not if gang stalking has anything to do with it anyway. So it's a thing that I've been doing for years. These readings that I've been doing for years that kind of snowballed. At first, it started with the coping At first, it started as a coping mechanism for myself, but then I realized I actually wanted to do it for other TIs. Now that I'm doing this pick a card reading, I realized that, you know, of course I knew that already, but I realized that TIs are not the only abuse victims out there. There are quite a substantial amount of abuse victims that handle things in a multitude of different ways. And the targeted individual community is a microcosm of that. So what this pick a card reading is for, is for you to find out what your strongest survival instinct is, or rather what survival instinct you use most of the time. And I've got 6 options here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, right? So what you can do is you can pause the video, go within, take deep breaths, close your eyes, let your hands guide over the cards, and pick one card or multiple cards, whatever, it doesn't matter. Okay? So, what is your strongest survival instinct? What is the survival instinct that you always fall back on? I'm going to give you some time to pick the cards. Okay? We're seeing as this is a live video. Okay, here we go. Dun, 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 dun. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, that's it. You've had time. Let us proceed with group number 1. Okay. All right. Now, I'm going to be using, the decks that I'm going to be using today are my usual decks. For the names of these decks, you can go onto my page of daily readings. Not the recent ones, but if you go back far enough, you'll see the names of all these decks that I've put on here, or I'll just put it in the description in a YouTube video. Hang on. That's not it. My apologies. This is going well. Right, here we go. Group 1. So, if you picked card pile 1, your natural survival instinct is that of tend and befriend. Your natural instinct, where your hypervigilance is applied, is towards making life as beautiful as possible for everybody around you. You're a big ball of love that wants to get along with everyone. That kind of defines yourself by the quality and quantity of your relationships. So as a result, your survival instincts revolves around being very agreeable, very kind, it's mostly kindness rather than generosity, a kind word. You also know how to turn really, really crappy situations, because we've got the Queen of Coins here. You know how to turn really crappy situations into like a beautiful one. Wherever you are is a safe haven for other people. But if you're a TI, you kind of feel bereft of romance in your life, and that's understandable because we have to be aware of handlers, honey traps, observational stalkers. So if you're a TI, you understandably might crave romance. It's like the very thing that you crave as a source for feeling replenished is like denied to you. If you're not a TI and you're an abuse victim of any other description, then you may give all that love outwards and give all that love, and you normally attract needy people as well. So you give that love and that beauty outwards to needy people because deep within you're needy and you need that. But you're thinking to yourself that you're not going to get that. So if you're not going to get that, and especially not from someone else, what you're thinking to yourself is, okay, I can't get that from other people, so I'm going to give it to other people. Somebody is going to have the happy ending. It doesn't have to be me, but somebody's going to have it. Yeah? So that is your philosophy. If I can't be happy, then I will make everyone else happy because somebody's going to be happy, God damn it. The seagull concurs. All right. So 9 of winter. We've got here that, yeah, you do tend to get overly worried about stuff sometimes when things don't go all the way smoothly, or, when you feel unappreciated, or when you feel like you're not getting the love or the respect that you necessarily deserve. And that's understandable. I mean, but what you have to do, pile one, is kind of replenish yourself. You have to replenish your own, you have to pour love and beauty back into your own life. And if you don't have people around that can do that for you, you kind of have to do that yourself. In fact, that should be your first priority, because the more you pour that love and that beauty back into yourself, is the more you is the more you're able to pour that back into other people. So that's my advice to you, group one, pile one. You really need to pour all that love that you feel, all that love that you want to pour back into humanity, pour it back into yourself first, so that you can actually do what you came here to do, and that's be a beacon of love for everyone around you. So that's your strongest survival instinct: love, tenderness, kindness. There you go, pile one. Now let's check out pile two. All right. Pile two. If you picked pile two, you guys are sort of like, what I get from this is the very stoic, how do I put this? The sitar player, the very stoic, holy man, the one who heals through music. I feel like creativity is a big part of what you do. It's a big part of how you heal. Only you don't use music to channel your more vulnerable emotions. What you use music to do is uplift yourself and other people around you, or any creative form of art is used strictly to uplift, is used strictly to lead people towards a divine path. It's all about higher consciousness for you. It's all about elevation and elevating yourselves. So if you picked pile two, you tend to be quite stoic in your emotions and very calm and very reserved. There is a little bit of a bite to you. You may be the type of person who's not into violence, not into, you might be a pacifist, but that doesn't mean you're a pushover. There's a little bit of a bite to you that's like, it's like a dog might be gentle, but no, not a dog, a cat. It's like a cat might be gentle and affectionate, but if you take it too far, they might nip you as a warning. You're that type of person. You're very, you like to give people a chance, but you're not a pushover. You're actually very assertive. But the one flaw that you have is that in all this emotional mastery and this sort of cool meditative presence that you have, where your survival instinct kind of lets you down is that you don't allow yourself the room to be vulnerable. Now, you're another one, apart from group one, that attracts needy people. You attract needy people, but in a different way. You attract needy people who don't feel that much confidence in their own path, who are very vulnerable, who are malleable, who need a strong influence in their lives. And you can be that strong influence, but then you're also thinking to yourself, well, sometimes I need help. Sometimes I need help. Sometimes I need someone to love and take care of me and guide me and make sure I'm all right. Like, when am I going to get that? The only way you're going to get it, group 2, is if you kind of open yourself up and be vulnerable. That's the only way you're going to get it. You're not going to get it by being stoic and by being sort of like, not hard-faced. I don't think that's fair. You know, the peace warrior can't be your only, thank you, Taro Ingi. The peace warrior cannot be your only, it can't be all you are as a person. You have to let your vulnerability out. You have to kind of let it through. And if you feel like you can't do it emotionally, let it out through your music, or let it out through whatever creative art that you do it through. Do it through your acting, do it through your writing, do it through anything that gives you, that lights that passionate fire inside of you. Use that to express your vulnerability and to be authentic until you feel finally comfortable being yourself. But you ain't got to be the strong stoic person all the time. You just don't have to be. So that's my advice for you, group 2. It was relatively short, but that's my advice for you, group 2. Now group 3. Let's see, group 3. No. Group 3. I tried to be as organized as possible, forgive me. Group 3. I got inside my mind somebody who is a very, very high achiever normally. Even a program like being a TI, or even any form of abuse at all, it wouldn't dampen your need to be physically powerful and wealthy and successful. If anything, it would kind of fuel it. Whatever negative traumas or emotions that you have, you either suppress it or you use it as fuel so that you can shape yourself physically. It's like, you know, it's like presence and image are very important to you, but only in the sense that you actually want to fulfill some long-term goals or aims to be wealthy and successful, regardless of the situation around you. The thing is that the great thing is that it kind of inspires people to be their best selves around you. So if they're going to be they're going to be around you, they're going to try as much as they can to be on their best behavior. Conversely, though, you might get people who are too intimidated to ever really be themselves around you, because they're always going to be measuring up against you. Am I beautiful enough? Am I handsome enough? Am I graceful enough? Am I wealthy enough? Stylish enough? Am I productive enough? Am I busy enough? They're going to be measuring themselves against you all the time. So your survival instinct is ultimately to be a winner. And if you're not striving and grinding and staying on your toes and staying on top, you can feel like an abject failure. No, you can be really tough on people. I'm not going to lie, but it's like, it's not tough in the sense that, you know, people can't forgive you for. People forgive you for it because you're aspirational. But nobody is tougher on yourself than you are. You are by far your toughest critic. And so it's like, anytime you're not completely perfect, you don't smell, you know, you don't smell like, you know, designer perfume or this, that, and the third. It's like the one time when you allow yourself to be human is like, nope, we can't have that again. At all times, you are all business. Doesn't matter what the situation is. Doesn't matter how sick you get. Doesn't matter how much you're attacked. Doesn't matter how much you're abused. You are always on point. I get it. You want to shape yourself and you want to mold yourself into something brilliant. But I have a piece of news for you, Group 3. You were already precious and beautiful when you started. All you're doing is chipping away at yourself in order to refine yourself. But sometimes the more you chip away, the more you lose something. Sometimes in order for an emerald or sometimes in order for a diamond to be refined, you have to lose some of the diamond as well as some of the coal. You feel me? Sometimes you have to lose some of the diamond along with the rock in order to refine it. I'm not saying that you should just completely just let go of your standards. I'm not saying that, but maybe don't be so hard on yourself, and therefore the world will seem like a less hostile place, and you won't feel so worn thin. But yeah, you're fighting to be something you already are, and it's really sad. You need to take it easy. And now, thank you very much, Group 3, for joining me. Now I move on to Group 4. Group 4. Oh, this is my favorite one. Okay. Hang on a sec. This is my absolute favorite. Group 4. I kind of have a bias towards you because I find you exciting. Looking at this, I can see you give me like real Game of Thrones. You give me Tyrell tease. You're like you're like one of those people who are, I don't know, not even like Tyrell. It's like you're Cersei Lannister on the outside and you're Marjorie Tyrell on the inside. Your words hold a lot of power. You are incredibly charismatic, incredibly cunning. Your life is filled with intrigue. Even as a TI or even as somebody who is a heavy abuse victim, your words hold so much power and you have so much charisma. You just draw people to you. But the only thing that I would say that fucks you up is that what you tend to do is you tend to keep people you like at arm's length, sometimes subconsciously, sometimes deliberately. But the one thing that unites both occasions is that you keep the people that you like at arm's length. You kind of, you like, you don't, how do I put this? It's like you give honey to the wasps and water to the bees, sort of thing. It's not bad to give a bee water, but it's like you kind of push people away that you actually like, and you invite vipers into your life. So the people who might actually be perps, or the people who might actually be, I'm sorry if this is triggering, the people who you might suspect are perps, or the people you might suspect of being not necessarily here for your best interests, you kind of lure them in with the view to destroy them. You kind of lure them in with the view to kind of, it's like you push people away that you like. You dive into the viper's nest with the view to becoming the biggest viper in there and just biting the fuck out of everyone else until you're the last one standing. That is kind of your philosophy in life. You're never scared, okay? But the problem with that is that you end up pushing people away that might actually help you find your real purpose. Instead of playing this game of chess, you need to find people around you who actually remind you what your real purpose is in life, and to actually focus on that, because you're not going to win. Granted, you're not going to lose either, but you're not going to win. Not this way. It's a game of chess where at least one person has a checkmate every so often. You're not going to be the last one standing, unfortunately. Neither will they, but you won't be either. You need to redirect all that powerful, incredible energy into what it is that you love doing and into the people that you love being around. What's the point in being this fierce and this incredible and this dynamic and this clever and this intelligent if you don't have anybody to protect with it? That's your purpose for being here. If your strongest survival instinct is to be cunning and fierce, then ultimately your life purpose is to defend the vulnerable. Maybe even defend yourself or defend those who are more vulnerable than you. That is your role. And if you're not doing that, you know the rest, group 4. You're denying yourself in the end. Find your purpose. Find it is what you truly love in life. And then all of this will actually mean something. Don't just focus on getting out of the negative situation or winning over it. Focus on where the positive thing that you're trying to get to. That will have more value to you in the long run. But yeah, group 4, I'm biased. Honestly, I wish I was more like you, but I'm not. I'm kind of just, yeah. But anyway, group 4, it's been a pleasure reading for you. Take care. All right, group 5. Here we go, group 5. All right, I'm going to put an 18 plus disclaimer on this. There is a lot of nudity in this thing. So it's the slightest tarot, everyone. It's going to be nudity in it. So you're similar to group 3 in terms of being go-getters and things like that. But it's like, you know how people flip houses? Your survival instinct, group 5, is that you flip lives. You take something with great potential and then slowly but surely you work at it until it reveals its potential. It's not like group 3 where, where they're refining something that's already there. You're finding something. It's like group 3 is refining the emerald, but you're finding the emerald. It's like you're just finding the gems in the most unlikely places. It doesn't matter if it's in the environment that you find yourself in or if it's in the people that you find yourself being around. You kind of find the preciousness in everything around you, which is great, which I love. Like, you have a very innocent spirit. You have a very trauma can bring that out in people, because remember, trauma brings out our essence. It might not reveal our full potential, but it brings out our essence. And at your essence, you're very innocent, very loving, very peaceful, very sort of, I need people to be better than okay. I need them to reveal their full potential. So in other words, you're trying to flip people on an opposite trajectory to where their abuse is taking them. You see, abuse will drag us down to our worst selves, or will drag us down to the essence of who we are and then give us something to cling to. You want to do the opposite. You want to help people realize their full potential so that they can find something that elevates them. And you like to do that for other people. Unfortunately, you can come across people who are very resistant to that because, maybe even rightly so, because nobody knows our own lives better than ourselves. And for you to come in and presume to know what's best for everyone, it might not necessarily be all that helpful. There are some people who are going to need your help, yeah, but let them come to you. The sick always seek their healing. So those who come to you, given that they're not perps or given that they're not abusers, those who come to you seeking your help, most likely, they're the ones who will be most receptive to whatever it is that you have to teach them. But you going out looking for things to fix or looking for things to improve, it's just like, And people as well, looking for people to improve. Like, bro, you can't do that. You can't do that. Do you understand what I'm saying? You have to be sort of kind to yourself and, you know, care enough for yourself to realize, you know what, not everything in my life needs fixing and not everything in my life needs to be flipped. Sometimes it's not a matter of flipping, but a matter of maintenance, a matter of care, especially for yourself. Sometimes you have to go within and take care of yourself and flip your own self. Then people can see what you've achieved, and then they can come to you and say, how did you do that? And then you can give them the benefit of your experience. But yeah, you can't be the fixer for everybody's shit. I know it's tempting because of what you've been through, but you can't do that, Group 5. I feel like this whole video is just telling people what they can and can't do, but I guess that's the fucking Leo in me. But you know, you need to sort of, yeah, care for yourself more. Flip your own house. You understand what I'm saying? So Group 5, I enjoyed reading for you. Thank you so much for joining me, and you guys take care. All right, Group 6. So Group 6, when I look at these cars, the image I get, not even the image, but the song in my head is, we're not gonna take it. No, we ain't gonna take it. We're not gonna take it anymore. So yes, there is a there is an inner rebel inside you, Group 6. Your strongest survival instinct is rebellion, but it's rebellion of a different kind. It's not the kind that's like, oh, I'm gonna go, you know, it's not like a teenage rebellion or even the rebellion that you see, like, you know, with the anti-COVID protesters or what have you. It's not that type of rebellion. Your type of rebellion is much more strategic. And although you kind of hate yourself for that, honestly, it's your form of victory. The fact that you're strategic and the fact that you don't meet aggression with aggression and the fact that you keep your cool, or you're submissive anyway, you have a naturally submissive nature, Group 2, that you feel like puts you at a disadvantage against really loud people. But what you don't seem to understand is that it actually puts you at an advantage. You are not at a disadvantage here. You have a sort of strategic genius about you that you can use to navigate through life and not even get the better of your enemies, but master yourself. Focusing on long-term solutions and focusing on long-term success ultimately is the best revenge you can have. Okay, fine. I know you want to punch people in the face, Group 6. I know you want to punch people in the face. I get it. But it's like, if you hold on to resentment from people who are overly aggressive, because, you know, while you're over there, you know, letting it fester inside you and not allowing yourself to express your pain and your hurt, and wishing that you could be angrier or wishing that you could be crueler, you deny yourself the opportunity to be yourself, and you deny yourself the opportunity to move on. Because while you're over there ruminating over the same things that made you feel embarrassed and made you feel humiliated, for that person, it was fucking Tuesday. It was just a normal day in the life for them. And they're moving on and they're getting on with their lives, having pissed somebody off and having fucking dominated over and trampled over somebody submissive like you. They're getting on with their lives. So why should you fixate and ruminate on the shit that they did? If karma is going to reach them, then karma is going to reach them. Trust me. What you have to focus on is playing to your strengths, and your strengths are playing the long-term game. Those are always your strengths. And in the meantime, If you've got any grudges, especially against people that you perceive to be stronger or fiercer than you, let it go, because you've got that same fierceness inside your spirit. You are not weak. If you are fixated on revenge against other aggressive people, understand something. Shame is driving that obsession. You have nothing to be ashamed of. Oh, sorry, fly. You have nothing to be ashamed of. There's nothing that you need to do in order to change who you are. You're fine as you are. Your submissiveness, ultimately, whisper it. Your submissiveness, ultimately, is power. Truth, Group 6. And now, I want to thank you for joining me, Group 6. And you, stay strong, stay blessed, stay well. Your softness is power. Take care. Bye-bye.